All right. We are recording. What's up, Faye?
Hello. I'm stoked to be here
Oh,
chatting
so
to you.
so cool to have you. We've already been chatting for 20 minutes. This
Where did
call
that time go?
this call started out pretty funny. I thought we were going to be holding an hour long or 90-minute long training to your group, and you said I think that's in like 2 or 3 weeks' time, dude.
Yeah. And I'm so pleased that was your mistake and not mine.
Totally my mistake. I've just spent the last hour like getting all the slides spick and span, but now it
Yep,
just means we're going to be extra prepared. Um,
exactly.
hey, super cool. I want to hear all about what's been going on in the last few months since we've connected. And also for anybody in the future, who knows who's going to be watching this,
Mm.
where they'll be watching it. I want them to know about you and who you help because you're doing a phenomenal job. So how about we start there?
Okay, so I run Busy Business Women, which is a bit of that banner you can see behind me, and I help time-strapped women in business become more profitable and be more productive. So I love all things productivity, and I'm massively passionate about helping women in small business thrive. So that's really
Yeah,
my jam.
that's your jam. So what about the men? What happens
What
to
about the men?
them?
Well, I'm sorry. Well, we did allow you onto the podcast and into the tribe. So you are a very special person, but the men have just got to go fend for themselves. Sorry, gents.
They got to find someone else. And tell me a bit about like how long has that been around? How long have you had Busy Business Women, the group? You
Yep.
know,
So Busy Business Women has been running about 3.5 years. I've been in business 12 years, and we took the business coaching arm out of the original business and rebranded that. And the group has been going, I don't know, it's like probably a couple of years ago now. I
okay.
think back to when it started, my first ever Facebook Live was me singing a Cher song, If I Could Turn Back Time, whilst drinking champagne when we hit 100 group members.
Was that a bit of a challenge or
Yeah,
like,
but well, it wasn't a challenge so much. It was just, if we get to 100, I'll do this. And it happened. And I don't think I really thought through, like, unlike working with you, there was no strategy at that time. It
sure.
was just, I like singing, I like champagne, it's a Friday. And if we can get the numbers, I'm going to celebrate. You know, we've moved a long way from then.
So what's happening? So where's the group at now? What's happening at the next milestone?
So we're just about to hit 2000, and
Ooh.
I had no idea we were going to go there with this today because I wasn't really thinking
Mm,
this through. I
yeah.
don't know, but it could possibly be more karaoke because that
Yeah.
is one of my favourite things to do.
Well, you've got a guitar now that you're also
Yeah.
learning. It could be a full-on rock show.
I feel like you're challenging me, Ryan.
It could be a challenge. I didn't expect to be challenging you, and you didn't
No.
expect to be receiving it, but
All right, done. That's what I'll do. Something along those lines. It's going to
I
happen
love
like
it.
in the next week, though.
Yes. So you're gonna have to get a song down, or
Yeah.
you could take suggestions, and whether you nail it or butcher it, it'll be a good time.
And see, this is what I come to you for. You have all these ideas. We were just talking about this before. Your level of creativity to take what would be like, not necessarily a boring post, but you make it different. And that's been really inspiring over the last few months.
It's good fun.
Mm.
I've been boring plenty of times, and there's not enough time while we're alive to not be. So,
Yeah.
yeah, cool. So, I mean, I didn't help you from square one with the group. You've built this thing, you've got a really solid group. I can speak from experience. I'm in it.
Yeah.
The only guy is that
The only guy.
I
Yeah.
don't know how long that mantle is going to remain, but
It's there.
it's a wonderful group. And I think you were doing awesome. It's safe to say you were doing awesome stuff before I came around. Um, when we connected, why, you know, why did we have that conversation maybe? And what were you looking for in the beginning?
So I'm kind of umming and ahhing when you say, it was kind of a good solid, how did you phrase it? It was a good start before we even met. I don't know that it actually was.
Okay.
What I managed to do was get lots of people in there, but it was, I wasn't leveraging it in my business at all.
Right.
Yes, there were people that were working with me that had been in the group and had got to know me a bit, but I didn't feel like it was a tool that was helping find new clients, create sales.
Okay.
It was just like this value add to people, and I was adding so much value, and I've since learned way too much. So Yes, I started with a lot of people in it, but I
Mhm.
wasn't really using it strategically in my business. And so
Sure.
that's why I came to you, because you put a great post up in another Facebook group, which I immediately kind of connected with, and just knew that I had this platform that I wasn't leveraging. So I'm looking at all the other areas of my marketing and focusing on those. But I'm building this group up, putting lots of time and effort into it, putting a lot of content in there.
But no
And
reward.
yeah, exactly. If you look at the return on investment, it was really low.
Right.
So that's why your post spoke to me at the right time.
Cool. Um, and I mean, from there, I mean, tell me about the journey that we've gone on.
Well, I've stopped doing a lot that I was
Oh,
doing, which is great because, my jam is productivity, and I talk about, do less, achieve more. And you have allowed me to do that in my Facebook group
what sort of
because,
stuff? Yeah. What
well,
sort of things
I
there?
was just posting like a crazy woman. Like people say to me, oh, you've got so much content, Faye, you don't struggle for content. Well, I've been in business 12 and a half years now. So yeah, I've got a lot of content. And so I was posting that out all of the time. I was
Sure.
using a scheduler, and it was just on evergreen stuff coming up all the time. But what that meant was that posts were maybe getting a few likes, a few
Mhm.
comments, a bit of engagement, because looking back on it, it was probably way too much. The other thing is, it wasn't strategic. It was
Right.
just quite random. It was lots of quotes. And yes, they're inspirational, but how many quotes do people need in a day?
Yep.
And there wasn't any thought behind what I was doing other than give, which is
Sure.
lovely, but that doesn't make me money. So, yeah, that's where I was at. I've completely lost track of the question now because I was just getting excited about not being in that space anymore.
Yeah, totally. I mean, we went down a productivity sort of lane. So you said you were giving a lot.
Yeah.
So now, sort of, how do you divide what goes into the group? What's different now?
Well, thankfully, thanks to you, I actually have a really nice plan now that isn't just about posting inspirational quotes at 7 o'clock every morning and hoping that suddenly makes me money in a Facebook group. So there are, in inverted brackets, themes of the
Sure.
kind of posts that I put up. They're strategic, they add value. And the other really critical thing is they get a lot of engagement.
Mhm.
So off the top of my head, like most of the posts are probably getting at least like 30 comments,
Yep.
but upwards of, there was one post last week that had 98 comments,
Yeah.
quite a conversation going on, which was a great community builder. So that's wildly different from what I had before.
Right.
I haven't focused on getting insane numbers in the group, but what
Mhm.
has been my primary focus is the quality of what was in there, and
Yep.
then the engagements that are going on. And that's significantly different to before I started with you.
Super cool. And interested to know, in terms of the comments and the conversation that's happening now, what, in terms of the content that you've provided, uh, in terms of time to create the content that's created those conversations versus before when there wasn't conversation, what's the balance of, like, is it a long piece? Is it a video? Is it what is it that's creating the conversation compared to before?
Well, there's still the long pieces in there, which are really my value pieces. They're just really giving to the community. But then what I've loved is that there are these just one-liners that create massive engagement, and from an algorithm point of view mean that more people are going to see what I'm
Sure.
posting, which has made a massive difference. So it feels like people are coming out the woodwork and seeing my stuff now. And sometimes it's just from one simple question in a group, but
Yep.
it's a thought out strategic question. It's not just chucking stuff out there for the sake of it, because there's a lot of people that post questions that don't get that engagement.
Mhm.
It has been a real game changer in my group. Had to get
Yeah.
that in.
Yeah, cool. That's so good. Game changer. We need something to flash up on the screen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And what about you? I mean, tell me a bit more about it. Your purpose of joining the program with me wasn't to fill the group. You already
No.
had the members. It was to engage them and then, sign clients. Tell us a bit about that side of things, how that progress has been and what you've done recently.
In terms of signing clients, what's been awesome is that, so one example would be recently one post that I put up about something that I was going to be launching, and getting people to comment on that, and then taking the conversation out of the group and into Messenger. And from one post, I think I made just under 9,000 Aussie dollars from
Wow.
one post.
Wow.
And the power of that is the content that was in the post,
Yep.
but also the things that you've taught me about how to shape that conversation when it's out of the group and in Messenger.
Sure.
Because the post was genius in itself, but then what do you do once you get people into a conversation and it's one-on-one? Like there can be a long way to go from the post to actually making money.
Got it.
And what you've taught me is has made that it actually matches my style completely. It's very conversational and easy and relaxed, and it's building that know, like, and trust up very quickly. And it's been really quite effortless. And I should say, of those $9,000, I think only one of those people had spoken to me on the phone
previously.
before.
Oh, wow.
So it wasn't like I was then spending hours on, consultation calls with those people. Not at all. It was really all done in Messenger, which is just such a great feeling.
That's fantastic.
Moment.
So cool. So then you can be productive, throughout the day and not be on the phone all day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what's the program for?
For busy business women.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my signature program. So there's 3 levels of working with me. This is my middle of the ground signature program. Okay. And it's all about building a thriving business. So
super cool.
It's like a $1,500 program.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a $47 really.
Yeah, we had to sell 100 people.
Yeah.
Super cool. And what's the plans now moving forward with that?
With the program or with the group?
Yeah, we're taking the group forward for maybe your top level program.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing right now, because I feel like, you know that I've got this folder on my desk. I can't quite reach it right now, but it's full of Ryan goodness.
You can reach it. You can go for it. Go for it.
Here we go.
It blew me away when I saw it.
Look at this, and it's all tabbed and honestly, every single day this comes out, and I'm planning my posts. I'm moved on from a scheduler, and now I'm being strategic and not letting that evergreen happen. So planning my posts, scheduling those. I look in that folder, I work through it. And the reason I'm talking about that is actually that even though I can't remember how long ago it was that I finished your course, I'm still implementing, I'm still learning. There's so much in there.
So you go back in and open it up.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And there's a lot of stuff I printed off that I haven't even kind of worked through, plus all the example questions, all the example like sales chat that you've given us. There's so much in there. So at the moment, I'm not even focusing on kind of next stages. I'm focusing on fine tuning and finessing what you've taught me, because I'm not there yet with all of it, which is exciting, because if I've got the results I've got from just a fraction of it, who knows where.
Super cool. I can't wait for you to get some retreats and events.
That's happening next year.
Is it?
And literally that side of my desk is my retreat project, and I'm very excited about that.
Yes.
That's a whole new flavour and something I've been procrastinating over for years.
And I can't wait to just witness or be part of you launching that, especially within the group. It's going to be super cool. And I was thinking this morning, I've got some ideas I'll talk to you about off air. Super excited. All right. That's a really cool sort of background as to where, how you've progressed things and what you've done. Were there any other sort of results? I mean, everyone loves to hear, hey, I did, XYZ amount of dollars in the group, but are there any other things that were specific to you that you thought that's why, I joined and what I wanted out of the program?
Oh my gosh. There's just been so much. Honestly, there's been so much, but it was really about how can I make this group make me money, because I'm not a charity, and giving so much.
That is such a good lesson. I don't think that's said enough.
It's and I'm here to make money, and yet I was just giving.
Yeah.
And people were seemingly enjoying my group, but it takes a lot of time to run a group.
Yeah.
And comment, and even the process of people requesting to join your group and you working out whether they're allowed in, and there's so many elements. I say to my clients, you say, I want to start a Facebook group. I'm like, oh, hold up a minute, let's really think this through carefully. So there I was with this big group, and I wasn't really making much out of it. And so For me, it was just being smart with where I was spending my time, because that's what I'm so focused on, productivity. And yet I was really hemorrhaging time in that group. So it's great to feel that I'm using it productively, strategically, being smart. It's making me money. And I also think, actually, critically, it's that connection and community. Instead of just throwing content at people, it's now built up this group of people who actually, I think, enjoy what I'm giving them, want to interact, and I feel like I'm getting to know people better. And when that happens, if those are your ideal clients and you're the ideal person to deliver your service, then the two are going to marry up, and that's happening a lot more now. Cool. So it's been it's been an awesome process. Genuinely has been so good.
That's
and
awesome.
I'm a massive fan of yours, as you know.
Ditto. I think we gelled pretty good from the moment we started talking. I was going to say game changer. I was about to flash that up. That's so cool. What would you say then to someone who's looking into starting group or even joining the program that might be on the fence, or then if they've got a big question, what would you say?
I think in terms of them, if they're sitting on the fence, which is an uncomfortable place to be, like, we hear people say this time and time again, just do it. But genuinely, and I said this to you before, the money I spent on your course was the best money I'd spent in my business in a good couple of years. And I have a thirst for learning. Like, I buy a lot of courses. So I know that you can't go wrong. Like, just sign up, do the course. If you are thinking about running a group, if you want a group to be part of your marketing strategy, if you want to grow your community, grow your reach, then you need to know how to run a group properly, and don't just jump into it thinking, oh, this will be nice, let's run a group, because you're going to hemorrhage time.
It's like a second child.
Yeah, completely. And, then you find yourself at night trying to watch TV, replying to messages, or not knowing what to post. So you're posting crappy pictures and wondering why you get tumbleweed. We've all been there on social media. You don't need another channel to go through that painful experience. So jump in, get the right advice from you, Ryan, and it would be the best money you ever spent. Because if you think about what I invested into this course and what I've made back so far in just one email, it's just a no-brainer. So
cool. And maybe to finish, what would be one tip you've got for someone? There's probably a couple of tips in what you've shared already, but what would be like one thing that you would suggest to someone that already has a group, maybe, as like a do or a don't?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Oh, well, I'm going to go with the first thing that I, was a real light bulb for me, was don't just keep chucking content in there, because that doesn't mean that you'll get interaction, you'll get engagement, and you'll make sales. It just doesn't at all. And in fact, quite the reverse for me. So don't just go scattergunning, is that even a word, stuff in your group.
Yep.
Be strategic. That is my number one thing.
Cool. So sort of a less is more if it's the right stuff.
Completely. Yeah. And that you need to add that part on the end of if you're just posting one thing a day, but it's the wrong stuff, that also isn't a great path to go down either.
Yeah, the wrong thing is always the wrong thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, super cool. Faye, thanks for jumping on and hanging out.
Absolute pleasure. I'm
glad that we got to talk about this and not present a training because that's in a couple of weeks' time. Where can people come and hang out with you? Well,
I have a Facebook group, funnily enough, called Busy Business Women. So
Incredible.
Anyone that is a busy businesswoman, wants to make more money, be more productive, then come hang out with me. It would be great to see you in there.
Totally. And when you do jump in there are a whole bunch of goodies. And if you don't jump in there, if you feel a bit frightened by this conversation, check out Faye's podcast as well, where we hung out. We did chat Facebook groups for a little while. It was good. It was a good time.
So good. The podcast just hit 2 years, and you are one of the highest ranking episodes on there right now. So
that's fun.
Yeah. To anyone listening to this, go check out Ryan's episode on the Busy Businesswoman podcast, because you just give so much gold, as always, just in a free session. So much goodness there.
Thanks, Faye. I'm super excited to see what's next. And thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it.
Pleasure. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.